My name is Kelsey Foreign, and I'm here to tell you today why a bonobo presidency in 2020 would be our best option. Although bonobos are not human, clearly we are 98.7% genetically identical to bonobos, so that makes them actually closer to humans than they are to gorillas, which is pretty cool. Also, bonobos have a lot of social traits that would make them awesome presidents. First of all, if we notice, I have Zanga here as our president, and that is a female bonobo that we have at the Cincinnati Zoo, and Bolingo is a male, and Zanga is a female, but female bonobos are perfectly ready and capable to take the position of the presidency of the United States because female bonobos actually rule the social structure in the bonobo families. So when male bonobos are acting out, the females kind of get together and say, hey, guy, cut that out, not cool. And along in that same vein, bonobos actually have excellent conflict resolution skills. Although they prefer conflict avoidance, like, hey, I don't want anything to do with it because they have a very peaceful nature, they do have an awesome way of resolving conflicts as well. They actually have a thing called a bonobo handshake. So it's kind of like, hey, I know we had this tussle, but we're good now, we're just gonna shake it out. They use a lot of body language and gestures and communication in order to resolve their conflict. So they're very peaceful creatures. Instead of gorillas, that tend to kind of fight things out. They do like to have peaceful resolutions. Also, they are good Samaritans by nature, meaning that they would do anything for their country. Actually, in a study, it was shown that bonobos are actually more likely to share food with strangers than they are with members of their own family. You can take that as you will for a presidency, but I think, it means that Zanga and Bolingo would be a ticket for the people. There would be some problems potentially that arise with a bonobo presidency, but I will face them outright right now and kind of try to solve them. So even though bonobos are only found in the Democratic Republic of Congo, making them not natural-born citizens of the United States, I'm sure there's room in the Constitution that we could kind of tweak that a little bit. Also, they are only born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but we do have some in captivity, under 100, in the United States because they are an endangered species, and they are under very strict supervision and scientific research because there's a species survival plan that makes sure that we can keep the species alive because it is endangered due to hunting as well as habitat destruction. Also, the diet of a bonobo that includes fruits, seeds, leaves, nuts, and small animals would be a little bit restrictive, but the White House chefs could be accommodating. George Washington also had a botanical nut as his favorite food, so the bonobo presidential diet would not be in bad company. Another issue that might arise is because bonobos are between 2.3 and 2.8 feet, which is about here to my waist. There would be some issues with the presidential podiums for speeches, but I'm sure that we can make accommodations for that as well. And speaking of speeches, it has been shown because bonobos are so smart and they're so genetically similar to humans, they are able to be trained to actually use a symbol keyboard to communicate with their keepers. So the public would always be in the loop, would always be in the know of what is happening with the presidency and what Bolingo and Zanga are what's happening with them in the Oval Office. The Bolingo and Zanga and Bolingo ticket for 2020 is the only option. Bolingo, Zanga, and Bolingo, a true 2020 vision.